spreading all around Hollywood. And then
Oh, come on, round of applause, please, as I get it on the stage. Thank you. Oh, you've given me the motivation I need to stay alive. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I am Empire's Chris Hewitt, and on behalf of Empire, of course, and Apple TV, it is my delight and honor to welcome you to this very, very special Empire VIP Club screening of the second season of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Oh yes, you may whoop all you like. Season 2, of course, picks up with the fate of Monarch and the world hanging in the balance, and reunites our heroes and villains on an island you might just recognize, and also a mysterious village where a mythical titan rises from the sea. It is a cracking season, and it has an amazing lineup. Kong, Godzilla, at least one Russell. That's right, maybe even two Russells. And that mysterious new Titan, Titan X, everybody. Oh yes, that's right. Tonight you're going to go see you're here already. You're going to see the first 2 episodes of A Legacy of Monsters on the big screen. Very exciting. And the second episode is an exclusive for you guys. You get to see it about 3 days before the rest of the world. Ha ha! Let's get a big old suck it, rest of the world. 1, 2, 3.
Suck it, rest of the world!
Yeah, okay. You lost momentum towards the end, but it's fine. So let me see. Yes, there are also new episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV every Friday, so check it out. But before we begin, before we watch both episodes back to back with credits in the middle, don't try and do a thing, you diminish the credits, they're going to roll in full. A bit of do's and don'ts for you guys, alright? So, do not film this and put it on the internet. I know, right? Do tell people how much fun you had on the social media platform of your choice. Tag, yeah, absolutely. Tag in Monarch, Apple TV, Empire Magazine, use the hashtag Monarch. Let me see, what else? Don't put spoilers on social media. I know. I'm a killjoy. Sorry, guys. But do stick around afterwards for the post-screening Q&A when I will be joined on stage by the actor who plays Lee Shaw. Oh yes. And also the actor who plays Lee Shaw. Indeed, both Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell will be here tonight. Remember that energy, keep it going. Please do enjoy Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, everybody. Damn straight. That was Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, the first 2 episodes, folks, of season 2. Exciting stuff. Please welcome the stars of the show, Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell. Hello.
Hello.
The Russells are in the house. Guys, obviously this is on the big screen. You got to see this on the big screen, didn't you, in LA? What was it like, Kurt, for you?
Well, it's great because it's the only opportunity you get to see it where kind of like when you see it, you go, yeah, it actually belongs there, you know? It's big, it's a happy feel to it, and there's not a whole lot of that in the world that it plays in all the time, which is on television, so it was fun for us. I mean, it was a new experience.
Yeah, I was sort of worried when we went to go watch it, like, oh, what's this TV show gonna look like on the big screen? And then when we watched it, I was like, this could be an awesome movie too. Yeah. You know, like the effects held up really like amazingly well, as good as anything, and like it was really good. All the actors, Mari, Anna, Ren, Anders, like they have incredible screen presence that held the screen, and it was awesome. I loved that experience.
It's a hell of a thing. Wyatt, at the moment, you are binging Severance, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Would you binge this on the big screen for a little extra frizzle?
I would binge this on the big screen for a little extra frizz. What's nice about this actually that's sort of different from those 2 shows, two most different shows on TV. This one, I feel like it's nice to have a break from with the monsters and all that's going on. It's very action heavy.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's that much action, I'm like, okay, let's find something else. Where it blends it together with people and you're interested in what they're doing. And we've been saying on this press tour that what makes it so fun to watch week to week is that this show, the humans are the catalyst for what the monsters do, and the movies, the monsters are the catalyst for what the humans do. And that's how you keep people interested week after week, and that's what's fun to watch, binge, week by week, whatever.
Absolutely. There's a ton of action, as you said. Kurt, episode 2, you were out at sea, fighting for your life against Titan X.
Was that in the boat?
That was in the boat, yeah. How was that for you?
It was fun. I was kind of a little disappointed in the wave activity that day. We didn't, I used to race superboats, so it was not that big a deal for me. Really, but it was, we did the best we could with it and got some action. It was kind of fun.
They made some good waves in post.
Yeah, the best they could.
So it's good to have you guys back, because obviously season 1 ended in a way that, we might not have seen, certainly Kurt, again in this show. So at what point did you both know you were coming back for season 2?
Well, the original, we just signed on for 1 season to do the show, and then it was sort of like we would see, but the end of that was actually, I was talking about that earlier today with you, the end of the episode of 10, and early on with Wyatt and Mari, when they're in a little tiff and they're their first meeting, and she sends him off and she says, aren't you supposed to salute when you finish your mission? And he says, when I finish my mission, I will. And he leaves, and then 10 hours later, we're doing the ending that was originally scripted. And I said, oh hey, I know what I want to do. When I'm looking at her going away, because I've fallen off, but I stand up, see her going away. It's very, it's very emotional, as it were. And I said, I want to salute her, because that's the end of the mission. And then I look and I see Godzilla. Godzilla looks at me, and that's the last you see of me. But it was never intended to be any sort of cliffhanger or what happens to him or anything like that. It was he's down there. He's finished. Okay. So that was then season 2. Apple Legendary wanted to do another season. We worked everything out, and away we go with bigger, better. This Titan X is pretty cool.
Yeah,
bigger, better monsters.
That man in the blue gray blazer, when I got a call from him, he's
that's Darren Gogosian. We're going to put him on the spot.
Our agent, and he's probably more responsible for us doing this than anybody, because when we first got the call, to be honest, I was like, I don't know, like Godzilla, I made the joke earlier today, like I've sort of, become known for playing a Mormon baby killer. The show Going to the Banner of Heaven I'd just done. I was like, they want me to do Godzilla next? Like, it sort of doesn't seem.
But not to play
my
Godzilla,
lane.
right? Just
yeah,
it's not to play Godzilla.
Yeah, it's not to play Godzilla. Although there were people who got that confused too. Yeah, once they started to say, oh no, it's not going to be just an MMA fight. It's going to be a world in which we focus on the people, and we want to make it grounded, and we want to make it relatable. Then that's when we really came together. We're like, okay, this could be viable for more than 1 season.
It was a really fun opportunity for us too, because we've been offered the opportunity of playing father and son a number of times, and the idea of playing the same character really was appealing. It was like, how many opportunities of that you're gonna get, and getting into that was fun for us to be able to just focus in on what we thought the guy should be, and we kind of both saw it the same way instantly as to who the fellow would work, how he would work best in the show. But that was appealing. It's like, play the same person. That would,
Because I've been racking my brains and trying to think of examples of this happening before, where
it was funny. Last year we discovered that with known actors, it hadn't been done before. There were people who you didn't really know. Like there was maybe the older actor was known, the younger actor wasn't, or vice versa. But in our case, Wyatt's been doing his thing for 17 years now, and I've been doing mine for 14.
14 plus 17. So when you actually get that offer though, and did you sit down and figure out how you're going to do it, or was it very much in the moment? Because I know, Kurt, you were inspired by seeing Wyatt on set doing his thing. So
Well,
have you a completely different game plan going into it?
What was interesting was the idea of working together became the realization of you're never going to work together, but you are going to work together on what the character's going to be and the scripts, working on what's going to take place.
Yeah.
And then early on in shooting, the first year, I had the opportunity to had a day off early, and I had because we had two different sets that Wyatt his set his kind of storyline, his era, and mine were obviously different. So I thought, well, hey, I'll go watch Wyatt, check it out, which was fun for about 45 minutes or so. I was just having a good time watching you work, I was kind of surprised at how similar our styles of working are. And then I started watching this actor lay down a role, and it was like, yeah, because I would have asked that question too, and so I was seeing it the same way, but it was fascinating because I really was getting to see who we both were going to play, because he was starting it out. It was a perfect scene too, because it had a lot of different things, and it was a barroom brawl with some
other GIs and
If you're at it, I love that line that you went. You had one line in particular I remember saying. I thought that's just right. that's the guy, and it was very helpful.
From your point of view, Wyatt, do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I do. It was also a scene where we were it was early on, so Matt Shackman was the director of that episode, and we were finding it, not knowing exactly what it was going to be, and that was a scene that we all had wanted to be implemented in there that wasn't in there. It actually was. They took it out and they put it back in because we felt like that was an important scene for the characters. Yeah, you're coming in and you're seeing a guy start a barroom brawl on purpose to get a guy's watch back that was stolen, that he saw it get stolen. So there's a lot of storytelling in this scene, and there's a lot of fun, but there was a lot of choreography and like he's playing it up, and you're seeing his personality, but you're also seeing his who he is as a person, and you're seeing that he's kind of wayward, and like Puckett says in the first season, it's an unguided missile, and he's this guy who doesn't have a purpose, but there's something inside of him that tells you that you're going to be able to hang your hat on this guy. So it was a good scene for you to come that day, and it was a lot of fun too. There was a lot of stunt stuff, and all the stunt guys were there, and it was just a good one to be there and start figuring things out on.
Are you surprised in a way that what Kurt said about you have similar styles and similar approaches to acting? Is it a case of the apple not falling very far from the tree? Was that something that just happened organically in a way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our lives did have a very similar track, along with my grandfather's life. His dad, Bing, he was a professional baseball player. He got hurt, became an actor. Professional baseball player, hurt, was an actor, but leaned on it. And then I was a professional hockey player, got hurt, became an actor. There's something that you see.
The universe is telling you something.
yeah. So there's something that you see when you're growing up that osmotically you do take in every meeting that he ever had. Probably it wasn't something that I ever focused on ever, but it was just communication style and seeing what you saw, seeing how people reacted to it, seeing things that worked and what didn't work, seeing things on set that were really fun, days that were hard, days that were not really great. Just a natural rhythm to a movie set, and things that you can see what greases the wheel. And they instilled in all of us, and hockey did this as well. I think baseball did it as well for him. A sense of work ethic that goes into making something as good as it can possibly be. So that didn't change from hockey to movies. That was a direct transferable thing. You could just take that and put it right into movies and be like, you want to be good at it? Then you put your head down, you work real hard, communicate as well as you can, fight for the things that you love, fight for the things that you think are important, and learn along the way. So I don't think that it was never taught to me. You know, we never sat
Yeah.
down and had a lesson on how to do this.
Yeah.
But it did. I did see things that worked for him, and probably osmotically took those on. It's like, you know, this is how I approach it as well.
Similarly for you, Kurt. I mean, you know, Wyatt mentioned your dad being there. You worked with him, of course, as well. So, was it the same experience for you? Did it just develop organically for you, or did you look to Bing and learn from him?
You know, I don't know. Some things are genetic, I suppose. I think our family has a sense of putting on a play, putting on a show. I know we did it when we were kids for our parents. Did that from my favorite one was always we had a doughboy pool. We lived in the valley, and we had a doughboy pool. It was about that high. And a friend of mine and I, we'd seen Robin Hood, and so we put the plank across the thing, and I said, "I'm Robin Hood, you're Friar Tuck." So it was fun to put some activity with it. You know,
Yeah.
we used to do divorce court for our parents, so we always had this. It was great. We always had this adventurous feeling in that regard, and I think, but it was when you take a sport seriously, you're going to play it for money. You're going to maybe make your living at it. That's an entirely different kind of. People talk about this business in competition,
Yeah.
and you were talking about the other day. Somebody asked you about it, and I was like, we both started to chuckle. This is not a business of competition. Anybody who thinks, any actor who thinks that has never played a sport for money. I'll tell you that. This is a creative sandbox. This is where you get to create and play with each other and make each other better. Everybody wants you to be good. You know, you want to make the best thing you can together. In a game, when I step into the batter's box, I'm looking out at the mound. I'm either going to take money out of his mouth, food out of his mouth, or he's going to take it out of mine. And hockey, he was a goaltender. It's like, you know, you keep the puck out of the net, or you're gone real quickly.
Yeah.
And it's black and white.
You don't
So
get to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like in sports, you don't get to be wrong. If you're wrong too much, you know, you're out of the sport. Here, it's like, how many times can you be wrong? Like, how many times can you get it wrong before you just have to get it right one time?
Yeah.
And it's a completely different animal that way.
So talk me through the process of being creative on something like this, on something like Legacy of Monsters, you know, which is obviously this huge behemoth with huge behemoths of creatures, and you go, I imagine loads of green screen, and you're out there on location as well. So is it hard to be creative as actors sometimes in that sandbox, or is it easy for you?
You do that before you go to work.
Yeah.
You know, that we've done. We do a lot of, and we did a lot the first year, and a lot the second year. You make it as good as you can, but I mean, that's why I say when I saw Wyatt working, I was kind of fascinated because I was watching him. He asked the questions I would ask and say, what if we do this? What if we do that? We do everything before you prepare, and then you go execute. And what's really fun about our business, I think, is your day of execution is not. It's not like game day. You do have to execute on game day, but you're practiced for it. But doing this, you look to find different things to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust involved as well, because you're just hoping that, like, the thing I'm reacting to isn't lame. You know, and you're like, if I react some big reaction to this thing and it sucks, like, I look like an idiot. You know, so,
But you said he was going to be that good.
yeah, but that was part of it. It was like, look, Apple wants to make these things awesome, and they want to make them great. Now, one of the things that I wasn't nervous about it. I had trust that it was going to be great, but we had done 4 episodes, and it was this water monster, and we were going to be really heavy on it, and it was like, I hope this water monster is cool, because it's not Kong, it's not, Godzilla, it's not from the pantheon of the Monsterverse. What's it going to look like? And I went into an office for a meeting for something else, and I saw on the board a rendering of the monster, and I was like, oh, well, if it's going to look like that, and you're going to make it cool, like, it's going to be great. And so from that point on, I really did just go, I trust that things are going to be great, so that's out of my mind. And then all of the other scenes that we do leading up to the monster moments, make those as good as you can possibly make them, as real as you can possibly make them, because then it makes the monsters that much better. And, the trust involved with it is high, but I trust them. They're going to make them great.
You definitely look towards the days when you're going to be working with the actors.
Yeah.
I mean, these actors we have, I think, are just really good.
Yeah.
And each one of them brings something very different to. I know when I'm working with them, to me, they bring something very different. I hope I bring something good for them. But they're very good, and so I just look forward to working with them.
Yeah.
And in this second season, we tried something in the first season where we actually sort of, in a sci-fi way, got to work with each other.
Yeah.
And it was very impactful, too impactful, as a matter of fact. They said, can't do that. Why not? It just takes it off in a whole different direction. Yeah, I can see that, understand. But if by any chance we do a second season, that's number one want for me. So we started talking about that, and they were able to find a way that we do some pretty interesting things in episode 7 and 10.
To be potentially in the same space.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I'm trying to tiptoe around things myself here, so yeah. But before we get into that, if we can, I don't know if we can, but Kurt, this experience of kind of pretending that you're seeing something there, I mean, the first time you did that, was it, I guess, The Thing?
I actually did a lot of it at Disney.
Of course, yeah. But
Of,
Elvis was there.
there's a lot of throughout my career, we did a lot of green screen stuff,
Yeah.
especially at Disney. A lot of wire gags at Disney.
Okay.
I learned a lot of stuff there, that I had worked on movies later on. I did a lot of it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Ego the Living Planet, what a great name. you gotta say yes to that. So you can think of a lot, you can think up a lot of things. But I've done it a lot, and this was no different. The Thing was one of them. On that one, do you remember saying to John Carpenter at the end, we're gonna shoot it, and I said, this thing's just like, now it's just every planet it's been on and stuff's coming out, there's a big face there. He said, yeah. And I remember we did that turnaround, I'm running away from it as it's working, and I said, throw the dynamite at him. John comes over and he goes, I said, yeah, I need to say something, right? He said, yeah, all right, let's do it again. And I remember thinking, I said, but this is really bad now, right? He said, yeah, it's really bad. So I said, yeah, fuck you too. So here, for me, this was familiar territory, but they do a fantastic job with these monsters. They really do. They're terrific. We were talking about, we were concerned is this thing gonna work, this Titan X? He does.
Yeah. How much did you know about Titan X going into this season? How much was explained to you?
Zero, really.
Yeah.
It was they were creating it as they were writing it, and they were wanting to create the lore of this Titan character in the show. So we didn't really know that much about it, really nothing until you'd get another script and be like, oh, okay, so that's what it's doing here, and it was back in that timeline where we discovered it, and then now it's come out, and all the stuff that you saw in episode 1 and 2. That was the first time I learned anything about it, read anything about it. The writers too. I think they were figuring it out as they were going.
Did you throw in a cheeky fuck you too?
It's funny you say that though, because there was a lot of talk about this thing, what it was going to do, what it's going to do, and that informs you as to how you treat it.
Yeah,
it's very important to me to keep on this show the big difference between, I think, the movies and what we're doing. This is a what if. What if this really happened? What if you woke up or you left the theater and you turned around and saw something your brain can't handle, but you got to deal with it. The show deals with the people who have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is affecting what they're doing. In order to keep that, you cannot Disneyfy these things. You can't. They're not even dinosaurs. They're worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important to hold on to for Monarch, and to remember. It's just you just don't. We're trying to make rhyme and reason into something. It's very difficult.
Did you base Lee, either of you, on anyone who has experience in that realm? Working with dangerous animals.
in that realm. No.
No.
We didn't. It was just really like, this is a 1950s military man. So you had to like look at, okay, he had friends who went to Korea, because that's when that time was happening. He had friends that probably, or older brother friends that were in World War II. You're coming off of that time period, so it's like you make him that type of man.
Which is really cool because they're gonna do his, they're gonna do a spin-off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is gonna be awesome. They have a bunch of the scripts written. Shovey Harold's writing it and directing it, who's an executive producer on this, and it's gonna be when Lee comes up in the last season in '82. He's put on ice in that facility, and they pill him up, and he's comatose, and he's gonna come back in the '80s behind the Iron Curtain in a Cold War spy sense. It's gonna be like a card flip Cold War thriller that involves monsters, but really heavily is a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to give any details on exactly what happens because it's gonna be awesome. But it's very well written. I'm very excited about it, and we're putting it together now. And I haven't been this excited about doing something. That I'm more excited about doing this than I have about something in a long time.
Yeah.
Just because it's a genre meld that I've never seen. Like, I've never seen a spy thriller with the MonsterVerse and the way that they've woven it together. I think that it's going to be something people go, wow, I've never seen that on TV at this scale. That's going to be a cool thing to do.
It's hard to do because Godzilla, it wouldn't make a good spy.
It wouldn't make a good spy.
No.
No.
Big, wouldn't be able to tiptoe around.
No.
Crawl into places.
Right. You make a good Trojan horse. A Trojanzilla. Maybe that's the name. Maybe you just came up with the name of the show. Trojanzilla.
Came up with the name of the show, or is that the name of the show? You just Trojan horsed it into this conversation. So, Kurt, where's your spin-off? What's going on?
This is it.
I'm doing it right now. Actually, my spin-off is Madison. It's a little different. No, I'm glad to be a part of having done what we've done on this show. I think there's nothing else like it on TV. I think that's always fun to do something that is unique in its own way. There's nothing else like it, and therefore it kind of gives me a feeling of.
And it's fun to be a part of, they call this the show like the mothership, and it's fun to be a part of that. And he's obviously, he's had such an awesome career of all the things that you guys have grown up loving and watching, like The Thing and Picture of Little China and all these great movies you did with John Carpenter that spun off these type of movies. All the directors that you love that do all the Marvel movies and all these movies, like they came from John Carpenter movies. And so
Stargate was actually really interesting that way.
Yeah.
Because they went on and did a whole
TV
world
series and world. Yeah, exactly. And so in the same way, it's MonsterVerse. You have to have characters that you are invested in to branch off and have it be worth watching. And so, he's the center pole of the MonsterVerse in this way, and being able to build it out. It's really cool and fun to do with these guys.
Absolutely. I've got you guys going in a second, but of course this isn't the first time that you've worked together. Wyatt, you've got a few early credits on your CV where you were on set and turned up in your dad's films as well.
Needed baby number 2, child number 11.
Was it baby number 2?
Yeah, number 2. I didn't even get the first baby role.
Kurt, pull some strings, man. What's going on? Unbelievable.
It was a time we Escape from LA. We were doing a show where just kind of reintroducing Snake Plissken coming into this situation and walking past a police station or something, and then they said we're going to put Wyatt in there, and said now this Snake Plissken's this guy that kind of scares everybody. They're kind of leery of him, but when I look at you just eyeball me back, okay? Just kind of wanted to see what he'd do, and sure enough, and I got the eye patch on, and I'm looking at him. I go past and look at him, he just completely eyeballs me back. I said, he gets it. But he played a part, and we have done this before. We played a part in a movie called Soldier, and they're babies that show aggression. This is a futuristic thing, and babies, And so now he's 12 years old, and that was a whole sequence. And he's really good in it. I mean, it was really, you know, he's becoming this person. And he did it well. He did it really, really well. And I was like, I remember talking to Goldie saying, he gets it. He understands what it is. He knows what's going on.
Did you feel that, Wyatt? Did you feel the bug biting you, and then you went and played hockey?
No, no. It was nice to be on set. I mean, it never. At that time I was playing hockey, and it was like it was always fun to be on set and do something, and you know, play character. But hockey was it. That was my life. That was what I wanted to do since I was 5 years old. So it was, you know, everything else was sort of second to that.
I remember, though, a very interesting thing happened. This is a little bit of telling a tale, but it's you know, it's true. I was in my trailer when I was out doing this one shot, and the way it was written was, there's this chubby kid who's not making the grade. And it's very serious, and so you see this chubby kid in the back, well, they're out running now, and marching, running, and you sort of see the chubby kid fall back, and then you hear a gunshot, and you know what's happened. They've taken him down. He's failed with the necessary things that they needed to do here. So, but the writing was said on Todd, which was the character. Todd doesn't even blink. So you're on this close-up of Todd, and as you hear that gunshot, and so Wyatt comes into the trailer afterwards and I said, "Hey, how'd it go?" He said, "Good, but I don't know." And I said, "What?" And I think, but he said, "Well, when they fired the gun, I blinked." And I said, "Where was the camera?" And he said, right there looking at me.
Yeah.
So I went out, said to the director, let me see that. Put it on the thing. There it is right there, and bang, blinks. I said, "He shouldn't blink." And he went, "Oh, yeah." So, welcome to the business of making movies, Wyatt. Glad you're paying attention.
I was good at following directions.
Being micromanaged already at that age.
He knew, he had, you know,
Yeah.
he understood what it was, what it meant, you know.
That's amazing.
And I thought that was a good sign.
I love that. I do have to let you guys go. Just one last thing. If you could work together again on a sequel to any of Kurt's movies, what would it be?
There's only one for me. Because everybody, by the way, it's hilarious. I've been doing this press tour and get a lot of like, you gotta do Snake Plissken. You gotta do it. Like a young Snake Plissken. He's so young, Jack. I'm like, I'm
Gets these offers.
I'm 12 years older now than he is. And he did the movie. I'm like, guys, thank you. But, it's unfortunately not gonna happen.
Why?
I'm gonna be 50.
You need to drag John Carpenter out of.
Old folks home if I play this character.
But just imagine, like, okay, so
Used Cars, the answer to your question.
Used Cars.
That movie to me.
Now that's a character that could be done again.
Right. Yeah.
There's a guy there to play.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you do it, Kurt?
Used Cars?
Yeah.
Bob Zemeckis was to show up tomorrow. I got an idea and I read it and it was great. I'd do it if I hired
What if it
him.
wasn't Bob Zemeckis? What if it was like me? Here's my idea. Do you want to hear
We're
it?
gonna have some conversations.
Do you want to hear it? Even more used cars.
Yeah.
It's like there's a second lot they didn't even know about. It's like Jurassic Park 2, but with cars. Are you in? He's not in.
No, I read. And I talk about a lot of things that there's throughout my career. They try to do some remakes and stuff, and talked a lot about sequels. I'm not big on them. I often feel that it was made with no intent to do that. Sometimes they can earn it, but most of the time, I feel like it was a one-off. It was a one-off. That was then. And Hollywood's actually in a time period where they seem to they're having a harder and harder time coming up with original content, and so therefore they lean on some of that. And there are some guys that can do that, and I appreciate it. They're difficult. In a word, they're difficult to do and do well.
Yeah, absolutely. But when they're done well just like this. Monarch Legacy of Monsters, of course, folks, is on Apple TV every Friday. Please give it up once again. Kurt Russell, Ryan Russell, thank you so much.